الحمد لله واستعينه واستهديه واستغفره وأؤمن به جل وعلا ولا أكفره وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أرسله بالهدى ودين الحق ليظهره على الدين كله ولو كره المشركون. I would like to start by a couple of ayats from the Quran. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful, by the English meaning, they say, Wakalu, they say, these two are certainly expert magicians. Their object is to drive you out from your land with their magic and to do away with your most cherished institutions. So technically, Pharaoh knows what's going on. He's clear. And just like Musa alayhi salam was clear, we're clear. Because his mission is the same as ours. Although he was divinely inspired. But we have the message that was given to Musa right here. Right? We have the paperwork. They say a paper trail, we got it. This is it. And so the trail is so wide to follow that you can't miss it. But for other people who are not looking for it, it's too narrow for them to see. They can be on it, they can cross it back and forth. It don't have nothing to do with them because they're not looking for it. So they said these two are expert magicians. Their object is to drive you out of their land with their magic and do away with your most cherished institutions. So when the government look at us, they said that nigga there is not no buffoon and not no clown. That ain't what's happening. He's not a big mouth either. He's smart mouth, but he ain't no big mouth. Because he's got something with him, the Quran, and it's telling him to do away with your cherished institutions. That mean even stuff you don't care about. Your Constitution, the Congress, do they care about their Absolutely not. Does the State House care about it? They don't care about it at all. But for the people, those are their cherished institutions. They go back and vote. They know it's a lie. They know that they vote and they don't spend $5. They spend $5 zillion every couple of years, and on every fourth year, they really stretch out on a big lie, and the people can't be that dumb. Okay, you say they are. Okay, there's something to that. But look, the people that's managing this don't care nothing about it. Congress, the Senate, the presidency, old George Bush Jr., he called it a rag. Didn't they say something back years ago and he said, it's just a rag. That's what he said to the people, and they know he said it, and that's what he meant. He was speaking his mind. A damn rag, what are you talking about? It's something written on paper. It might as well be the Bible, as far as he's concerned. Might as well be the Bible. I care as much as I do about the Constitution as I do about the Bible. Does my behavior show that I care about the Bible? And don't talk about the Koran. Well, I tell you. Look at here. So this gives you an idea what the people, when Shuaib rose up amongst his people, now you got to remember, Shuaib was an Arab, and the people, Musa alayhi salam, when he run off, he was hanging out with those people, that type of people. They believed in one God. That's why they said that God up there on the mountain. And when he said, shoot, God can't live in the mountain. But he went up there and said, take your shoes off. You're on sacred ground. And then he gave him the mission. Okay, you gone back and hook the people up. That's what I had them run you off so you could come over here and get the game on going back. And it's a move for liberation. Now, another ayat from the Quran says, or a couple of them, have we not made for him 2 pair of eyes or a pair of eyes? Any tongue and a pair of lips? And shown him the 2 highways? Najdain. But he had not made no haste on the path that is steep. What will explain to thee the path that is steep, the uphill road? Is the freeing of the bondsman, freeing of a slave. Giving food in a day of privation to the orphan who claims their relationship. And this is the key, to the injured down in the dust. Their face down in the dust. They ain't got no hope but you. Okay, that's our mission. This has been our mission. We're not apologetic about it. We're happy. You wouldn't believe how happy we are to be here today compared to what happened to our people in our past. Does anybody remember a guy called Agent 800? Marcus Garvey, that's right. Agent 800. Agent 800. Because part of the talk today is about some of our potential liberators. And today we're just going to mention in passing about a great personality who came along in our time. In fact, he was big. His court date for stuff would have been 100 years ago now, about 100 years ago, 1922. This would have been the height of Marcus Garvey's career, 100 years back. Now, to a lot of people, that's a long time ago. But he set the stage. We would consider him the first one with a comprehensive liberation philosophy. He would be the one with the first that don't mean that Booker T. Washington and then the Talented Tenth and all them people, they had pieces of it, but they had little pieces. He's the first one to come and state clearly to liberate your mind, that you're as good, as big as anyone else. And that's what the Negro Improvement Association was. And so you got to remember, he came out of the Caribbean. And I got the understanding of the Caribbean. One of our greatest brothers, I think he passed away a few months back, Imam Yassin Abu Bakr. And he had flaws, but he was a good man. He came here, and the government down there in Trinidad, is that Trinidad, was on his case. That government. Now, there was another government that came later, and the one before was on his team. So when one government gave him trouble and assassinated his son, I think his son used to go over to Howard. And we used to have a lot of programs in 84, 85. And he came over here looking for guns. And he went all over. He was at these look, the conferences that we were at were so well surveilled, and the people guarding the Ayatollahs was dope fiends. Yeah, I mean, that's how they so the brothers the brothers in Canada, the African-American brothers, or the Afro-Canadian brothers, it was all like this. Well, I come to find out for certain they was the police, but I knew then they was the police. So not only them, but our history, I'm going to go through some of the COINTEL programs. So the COINTEL program had been out for a decade and a half. And so we knew clearly in words, we knew about the counterintelligence program before we knew it existed in words. We knew the pattern. We'd say, man, they'd say to me, the white man got you on the board, the chessboard. In other words, that you're on the board, man. That mean that they move in pieces, and everybody in the community that knows about the game is already ready to wave bye-bye to you. Because you're on the board. That meant that in those days, you're on the board. So that means that you're finished. And 99% of the time, they would be correct. They're not correct in our case right now. We have carried on a heroic struggle. I mean, here in America. It's big time heroic. It ain't no game. And we know what we've been doing here. It's been under strategic management. And look, the outline we've been using, because, see, as we go through this trial and error and learning, we arrived at this Quran. We got here after a long time of looking and searching, and, then after, that's it. Now, what are we going to do? We're here in America. How are we going to get this instituted? That ain't no joke. You go over history, what has happened to everybody else that came along this road. So you study. You become an expert in your region, your area, and the practices. What was the FBI developed for? J. Edgar Hoover's first case was what? Anybody know? J. Edgar Hoover's first case. Y'all mentioned it a minute ago. Yeah. Of course it was. That's what the FBI, what was the police, the uniform police established for? Catching slaves, right? Do you know how much what America has been founded on? Maintaining its certain things. And number one was slavery. Huh? Fugitive slave law. That's what their books said. We had it, their books. Come on, Justice in America, right? I think I showed up a whole page with. That's what it was for. Okay, the COINTEL program, the first case, wasn't the Palmer raids and all of that stuff later or around that time, leftists. It was for black people. It was for Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey got so big, the dumb government was saying, oh, that's a buffoon, that's a clown. And the Negroes said, boss man, that nigga is dangerous. It was our people that sicked the FBI on our, boss man, oh, Lordy, you ought to hear what he said. And it ain't that. And it's not that we're jealous because he has 1 million people or 3 million people with him, and we have 16 or 17, and we got more sense than he do, and he's a big old, and you ought to see him, the nigga, he got a big wide nose, you ought to see that nigga. big wide and lips on him, he can't have no sense. He black as your shoes, doggone near. And I was going to mention before about the brothers in the Caribbean. See, I hadn't thought about it, but Imam Yassin Abu Bakr was talking to a group of immigrants and us. We're all there. And he said, while I was sitting next to him, he put his hand on, he said, now you know, Imam Musa, we got our freedom 50 years ahead of you guys. Talking about African Americans. But you got to remember, those were slave-breaking islands. The slaves that they didn't break stayed down there. And remember, Haiti, that was the first, however you add it up, that was the first black revolution.